What if I told you that beneath the world's most desolate continent, something is alive? Not ice, not rock, something watching. For decades, governments have sealed Antarctica away. No cities, no settlements, no answers. But explorers whisper of shadows moving under the snow, pyramids buried in ice, and fleets that vanished without a trace. This is not just frozen wasteland. This is the most dangerous secret on Earth. At the bottom of the world, where no one lives and few dare to tread, lies Antarctica, the largest desert on Earth. A frozen fortress of ice and snow, 2 miles thick, the ice sheet stretches endlessly in every direction, swallowing mountains, valleys, and rivers that no human eye has seen. To the casual observer, it's lifeless, silent, pure white. But silence is deceptive. In Antarctica, the silence is alive, humming faintly beneath your feet, echoing through the ice, hiding secrets older than civilization itself. For centuries, explorers have whispered about what lies beneath. Sailors told stories of ships that vanished into snowstorms, never to return. Scientists have reported anomalies, magnetic fields that defy physics, radio signals that seem alive, and heat signatures that hint at geothermal activity in places that should be frozen solid. And the most unsettling reports come from those who have glimpsed the impossible. Shapes that move beneath the ice, glowing geometric forms, mountains too perfect to be natural. The continent has always been a paradox, one of the most remote, inhospitable places on Earth, yet impossibly compelling. Every expedition brings back fragments of knowledge, photographs, maps, and diaries, hinting at a hidden world below the surface. Some claim they have seen pyramids buried beneath the snow. Others report vast caverns where the ice hums with life, vibrating in strange rhythms, as if the Earth itself were breathing. Antarctica is not empty. It is waiting. Beneath its frozen layers, there may be civilizations older than memory, remnants of lost technology, or even life forms that have survived untouched for millions of years. Scientists speak of the ice with reverence, caution, and fear. Governments have restricted access, locked military zones, and censored satellite imagery, warning explorers away from certain coordinates, even as climate change begins to melt away the thick ice and reveal what has been hidden for eons. And so we begin our journey, not as adventurers seeking glory, but as witnesses to a planet's deepest secrets. For in Antarctica, every layer of ice is a page of history, every cavern a chapter in a story that humanity is only beginning to comprehend. And some of these pages are not meant to be read. February 1947, Admiral Richard E. Byrd, the most renowned polar explorer of his generation, embarks on what is publicly called Operation Highjump, a massive American expedition to Antarctica involving 13 ships, hundreds of personnel, and aircraft equipped for reconnaissance. Officially, it is a scientific mission, mapping ice flows, testing cold weather equipment, and conducting aerial surveys. Unofficially, according to declassified accounts and leaked documents, it is something else entirely. A military expedition with orders sealed and objectives classified. In the days after takeoff, Bird records the first anomalous readings, His instruments register temperatures inconsistent with the environment, compass needles spinning wildly, and radio signals that are neither human nor natural. On his flight logs, he writes of vast open valleys beneath the ice, valleys of green, filled with trees and flowing water. He describes seeing structures, geometric and enormous, rising from the ground in a way that defies natural explanation. These claims are extraordinary, almost unbelievable. But Bird's diary continues. He reports encountering beings, tall, luminous entities that move with deliberate intelligence. They communicate through thought, he says, warning him not to proceed. They speak of weapons, technology, and the dangers humanity poses, not to each other, but to the planet itself. Bird's diary is chilling, not because it is fantastical, but because it is detailed. He sketches maps of the hidden valley, describes the atmosphere, the sounds, and the light in meticulous detail. He recounts his fear, awe, and confusion, the sense that the Earth itself is alive in some way he cannot understand. After the expedition, Bird returns a changed man. Publicly, he downplays the findings. Privately, his diary is locked away by the Navy, classified and sealed for decades. Researchers who have examined fragments describe the language as precise, almost like a scientific journal, but laced with fear. What did Bird see? Were these hallucinations brought on by extreme conditions, or glimpses of something entirely alien and forbidden? Whatever it was, it left an indelible mark, and decades later, as Antarctica's ice begins to melt and reveal its ancient layers, the warnings in Bird's diary feel more urgent than ever. Long before Bird flew across Antarctica, before Operation Highjump, the Nazis had already turned their gaze south. In 1938, the German Third Reich launches an expedition to a remote region of the continent they call New Schwabenland. U-boats disappear into icy waters, carrying equipment, vehicles, and men whose identities remain a mystery. Some reports suggest drilling rigs and massive tunneling equipment were transported to the southern ice, not for scientific exploration, but for construction. Rumors speak of an underground fortress, Base 211, hewn from ice and rock, warmed by geothermal heat, stretching miles beneath the surface. Survivors of post-war interviews hint at vast halls, rooms filled with machinery, and artifacts of a technology far advanced for its time. Some claim the Nazis intended Antarctica as a refuge, a place untouched by the war, a stronghold for experiments that the world must never see. When Operation Highjump was launched in 1947, the mission coincidentally, or perhaps intentionally, encountered resistance. Pilots report glowing discs in the sky, objects too fast and precise to be human-made. Ships were damaged under strange conditions, and personnel went missing, sometimes vanishing without a trace. Bird himself commented on facing a new enemy, capable of moving from pole to pole in a way that defies conventional physics. Post-war intelligence documents hint at classified operations to investigate these areas further, but most were destroyed or redacted. Satellite images remain heavily censored, and coordinates are blurred in publicly available imagery. Could the Nazis have uncovered something beneath the ice? A hidden civilization, alien technology, or an ecosystem entirely unknown to science? The questions linger. Every expedition into Antarctica touches these old mysteries, and every new revelation hints at something older, more dangerous, and far more profound than anyone expected. The shadows of New Schwabenland, if they still exist, may be waiting, patient beneath layers of ice and secrecy. Hundreds of miles from the South Pole, modern satellites reveal shapes that defy explanation. From above, they appear as mountains, at first glance natural. But as the cameras zoom, The lines are too straight, the angles too precise. Triangular peaks rise sharply from the ice sheet, perfectly symmetrical, cutting cleanly against the frozen expanse. They are pyramids, buried beneath kilometers of ice, larger than those at Giza, yet untouched by human hands. Scientists dismiss them as natural formations called nunataks, rock protrusions that pierce ice sheets. But the precision, the uniformity, and the placement along a hidden grid suggests something more deliberate. Explorers report eerie alignments with celestial markers, angles that correspond with solstices and constellations. If nature made these structures, it did so with geometric mastery far beyond modern engineering. Teams that have attempted to reach these pyramids tell stories of strange electromagnetic disturbances, compasses spinning wildly, instruments failing, and GPS systems losing signal. One group even claimed to see lights moving inside the ice at night, glows that flickered and pulsed as though alive. Videos were confiscated or mysteriously erased. The men who returned spoke in hushed tones about unseen forces guiding their movements, warning them to retreat. The implications are staggering. Could this be evidence of an ancient civilization in Antarctica, buried by ice over thousands, perhaps millions of years? Or could it be something else entirely? A civilization not human, perhaps predating humanity's history. The pyramids may hold knowledge lost to time, engineering marvels, records of advanced technology, or perhaps a gateway to something that we are not meant to access. Even the satellite images provoke unease. Shadows move unnaturally across the snow, faint anomalies appearing that disappear when scientists attempt closer inspection. Each year, as the ice melts, new structures are revealed, as if Antarctica itself is slowly exposing its hidden chapters. And one question remains. If these pyramids were meant to be discovered, who built them? And if not, why do they lie hidden, waiting beneath the ice? In 1959, world leaders convened in Antarctica to sign a treaty that would govern the continent for decades to come. The Antarctic Treaty forbade military activity, territorial claims, and mineral exploitation, officially to preserve the fragile environment. On the surface, it seemed like a noble agreement. Nations agreed to share scientific research, cooperate on environmental studies, and leave the continent a place for peace. But there is a darker interpretation. Why would global superpowers, sworn enemies at the height of the Cold War, unanimously agree to lock away one of the Earth's largest land masses? Some insiders suggest that the treaty's primary purpose was not environmental, but strategic, to hide what lies beneath. Classified areas, forbidden zones, and restricted airspace point to a concerted effort to keep humanity away from the continent's deepest secrets. Documents declassified decades later hint at previous expeditions encountering anomalies, including evidence of structures under the ice, unexplained energy readings, and even encounters with unknown entities. These reports are consistently redacted, censored, or buried. The Antarctic Treaty, then, becomes less a protection for nature and more a mechanism of secrecy, a shield to prevent the world from discovering what might fundamentally change our understanding of life, history, and civilization. Researchers, explorers, and whistleblowers repeatedly warn that Antarctica is not just frozen rock and ice. It is a place of hidden knowledge, waiting silently under miles of frost. And as ice sheets begin to retreat due to global warming, the potential for revelation and danger grows exponentially. Indigenous myths from around the world speak of hollow worlds, subterranean civilizations, and beings that live beneath the poles. While these myths were dismissed by mainstream science, modern Antarctic explorers report experiences that echo these stories. Many who spend extended periods on the ice report hearing low, persistent hums, vibrations that are neither wind nor machinery. Some describe voices, whispers, or melodic tones that seem intelligent, almost communicative. These phenomena are accompanied by sudden compass failures, electrical anomalies, and localized temperature shifts. In 2002, a Chilean research team abandoned their station overnight. There was no struggle, no distress call, only empty tents and half-finished meals. Their last journal entry read, "The ice is speaking. We must leave." Psychologists cite stress and isolation, yet similar experiences have been reported across expeditions, spanning decades, nations, and conditions. The ice whispers, yes, but what is it saying? Is it a warning, a communication from a hidden ecosystem, or a remnant of intelligence buried under the Antarctic crust? Those who have felt the hum describe it as both terrifying and mesmerizing, an audible pulse from the planet itself, a rhythm that seems older than time. These whispers, combined with anomalies in satellite imagery, submerged structures, and the ice pyramids, suggest that Antarctica is alive, not with plants and animals, but with a memory, a consciousness, a secret waiting for discovery.